Hey everyone, this is Ryan with Love Farm Tennessee and the homesteadconsultant.com. Today I'm going to be talking about using a freezer that died on you. And I'm just going to tell you, you shouldn't throw it away. There's actually quite a few uses, but I'm going to go over what we're doing with it.
Turn off the news and build a garden. Just my neighborhood and me. We might feel a bit less hardened. We might feel a bit more free.
Please pardon our mess as we're rearranging in the shed here, but this is our freezer. It's a fairly large freezer. It's going bad. So instead of trying to fix it or use it as a freezer anymore, we're decommissioning it. And instead of taking it to the scrapyard or to the dump, we're actually going to take feed and store it inside. I'll go over some reasons in a minute. Right now you can see there's still ice in it that we're waiting for the ice to thaw off and be able to be drained out that drain. As you can see, it's currently on a little bit of a slope, so all that water from the ice should run to the end and be able to be drained easily, and then we'll dry it out really thoroughly before we put food in it. I expect to be able to put about 10 bags of 50-pound bags of feed in there. In this case, that's feed for our chickens. We're hoping to put dog food in there as well for the dogs on the farm. And there's a few things we want to do to increase preparedness with this, with the freezer system that I was showing you. One is that we're hoping to do whole grains as opposed to the pre-milled food. The pre-milled food is easy because you just give it to the chickens. They're able to eat it and digest it as is. However, you can get unmilled grains, plus minerals and things as well to go with it, that what you do is you soak them before you give them to the chickens. So you might soak them in a 5-gallon bucket for a day or two, and you do that on rotation. The first reason is that you're going to actually add to the probiotic makeup of the mix. So you're going to be increasing the probiotic. It's going to be beneficial for the chickens. The other is that when you soak those grains, they become much more absorbable and much more usable by the chickens. So basically, we're going to increase the absorbability of the food, meaning that we have to feed our chickens a lot less. Now, from what I've looked into and what I've researched, a lot of people are saying they're feeding about 50% less food when they soak the grains and ferment the grains beforehand, because they're getting a lot more efficiency out of it with their chickens. They're also tending to see higher egg production, less time in molting, things like that. So when we put all those things together and think about preparedness, let's say we can fit 5 of these and 5 bags of dog food. So we're preparing the dog food, or for the dogs to have food for a longer period of time, but we're also preparing for the chickens to have food for a longer period of time. But if we can soak it and get twice the amount of nutrient out of the feed instead of going with the pre-milled stuff, and if it has more nutrient value over a longer period of time because the grain or the other nutrients that are in it have not been broken open, so they've got that protective skin around them, we'll have longer term storage of nutrients. And so in this case, what we're hoping to do is effectively have what would be 10 bags of this by having 5 bags of the whole grain in there, and have the ability to keep it for longer because the nutrient value holds better and longer. So that's our plan with the chicken feed. Like I said, we're also going to put dog food in there as well. The other benefits that this freezer really offers is when it's closed, it's very well sealed up. So the humidity levels stay roughly what they were when you shut it, or they fluctuate a lot less, at least in a given day. And the same with the temperature. So let's say you have a 30-degree night and a 50-degree day. This cooler is going to stay closer to 40 degrees that whole time, and it really helps the feed and the food last longer in a better state. when it's not going from really warm to really cold over and over again. So the closer we can keep the temperature and the slower we can make that transition up and down, and the less transition we have from day to day or less fluctuation, the longer that feed's going to last. So I just basically wanted to bring this idea to people as a means of a rodent-proof long-term storage for your animal feed. And in permaculture we say the problem is the solution. In this case, we had a freezer that was going bad. It was a problem, and rather than hauling it all the way to the scrapyard or the junkyard or wherever, and spending the gas and the time and the effort to do that, bringing in a new freezer, still having some of the issues that we had with storage for feed, being the barrels not really being all that big, there being no like thermal regulation of any sort, and sometimes if lids weren't shut all the way or clipped on properly, we'd still get rodents in there. We've got a great solution out of what was a problem. So anytime you're thinking about doing something on your homestead, or anytime something isn't working right, think through what you're doing. Ask the why. Ask in the Japanese culture, especially the business culture, there's a culture of asking why. Whereas here, I think there's a bit of a culture of arrogance and going, we'll do the thing we need to do to make it work. Whereas in Japan, they ask why oftentimes 5 times before any decision is made. And they keep asking why and narrowing down on that. And oftentimes in that why, there's a simple solution staring you in the face. There's a reuse for something, especially on the homestead. Just about everything can be reused. Not everything should be reused. There's a lot of things that we keep that end up being in the way and being a hassle and being something that we have to clear out later because we realized might as well just buy it if we need it at some point down the road. However, there are things that we also throw out that could be extremely useful, and this is one of them. So I would highly recommend reusing your freezer in this way. If for nothing else, you could use it for other storage, for things that need to be kept weatherproof or kept out of weather. So it might even be clothes that you want to keep mice out of, or other things that you want to store. So let me know if you've used a freezer for something different. I know some people will put, as if the freezer's still in good shape, but it's a chest freezer, they may put, you can put a plug on it essentially to turn it off when it hits a certain temperature. So it can basically be a refrigerator, a super high efficiency refrigerator. I know people who have used them for flower farms and other purposes like that. So let me know if you've ever used a freezer for those purposes, what your thoughts are on this, things that you think could be improved, or other uses you can come up with for it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Again, if you want to see more of what I do, look up thehomesteadconsultant.com. I help people, especially in Tennessee, Kentucky, surrounding areas, with homestead design, thinking through how to set things up to be the most efficient and to really suit your lifestyle. So it's a very customized service that I provide. And then the other thing is we have Love Farm TN. You can find us on most socials, YouTube, Facebook, and such, as well as odyssey.com. That's my parents. So yeah, look us up. We've got quite a bit of stuff out there from Love Farm. I've been producing videos for a couple of years now, and there's quite a few other, if this is your first seeing this, there's quite a few other homestead hacks and other videos and thoughts on homesteading and self-sufficiency, preparedness, things like that. So thanks for watching. We hope you will tune in next time.